Okay, I've been a councilman now for 2.5 years. My first month on the job, I sit down with the Parks Department. This is a mind-boggling story, and it's even more mind-boggling because it happens to be true. I sit down with the Parks Department and say, listen, I want to renovate a bathroom. Okay, where's the bathroom? Well, in Gravesend Park, right, which is a very largest park in my district, on 18th Avenue and 56th Street. There's a bathroom that's disgusting. You can't even walk into the bathroom. It's just really horrendous. So I said, listen, you know what? I've got some capital funds. How much can it cost for the bathroom? The bathroom is 400 square feet. What can it cost? You know what? I'm going to be liberal. Why don't we say $200 a square foot, 400 square feet, we'll put aside $100,000. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever done a home project, but if you have a 400 square foot bathroom and you put in $100,000, you have a pretty nice bathroom, right? And that's a nice bathroom. So the commissioner at the time looks at me and says, listen, Councilman, we're going to get back. I said, no, don't get back to me. $100,000 is a little expensive of council. We got to run the numbers and get back to you. What's to run the numbers? It's fine. Okay, fine. 3 days later, I get a phone call from the Parks Department. Yes, we ran the numbers on your bathroom, and the cost will be $1.6 million. So what? Excuse me? What do you mean it's going to be $1.6 million? I said, I think you misunderstood me. I don't want to knock down the bathroom and build a brand new bathroom. I simply want to renovate the 400 square foot bathroom. He said, oh, you want to knock down the bathroom? Well, that would be $6.5 million. I said, you know, I could buy a house across the street for $700,000 for the whole thing at the back rooms for less than $1 million. Well, Councilman, you got to understand, there's a process, and an RFP, and there's unions, and there's contracts, and there's living wages, and there's regulations, and we take something as well, we manage the project, we take 35%. And that's the moral of the story. And so what I decided was that exactly that. I would do piecemeal, right? Slowly but surely I would put aside money. As a newer elected official, I have a longer shelf life. Some of the older elected officials are sort of on the way out. And I can say, okay, even if it takes me 3, 4, 5 years, right? We'll put down a down payment, but eventually it'll get done. And I believe that by the end of my first term, which will be sometime next year, that we will, God willing, have the money to, in fact, complete that bathroom. So we share the same frustrations that you do. Just a funny follow-up to the story is that finally I got some of the money this year, so I pulled up and said, listen, okay, so it's great. I put some of the money in down payment, and they said, oh, well, bad news for you, the price went up to 1.8. I said, oh, no, Commissioner, stop. Come on. This is where I draw the line in the sand. We haven't gone too far. So you're going to face some of the same frustrations that we face, which is things in the city, for a lot of reasons beyond our control, cost a lot of money. And I always tell people say, why is it so expensive? I say, listen, I'm not the mayor, I'm the city council. We got to work within the system we have, do the best that we can to bring back the results that we can.